Hello and welcome to another episode of It's a Long Road, the Rambo Series Podcast. I am your host, Ryan, and with me today I have another special guest coming on the show for the first time. I see your nickname down there, Lone Wolf. Now, can I call you Vic? Is that okay if we go by?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so I have with me today Vic. Vic, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you doing up there in the Great White North?
It's beautiful and sunny right now. I actually just got back from a run. I was running with my wife, and I was like, honey, I got to get back. I haven't showered yet, so if you smell me, I apologize, but I should be okay. So, Vic, I'm really excited to have you on today. I hope you don't mind my asking, how did you discover the Rambo podcast?
I'm a mail carrier, so I listen to a lot of podcasts every day. I'm out in the street 5-6 hours a day. So I believe it was maybe like 2-3 years ago, there was a Die Hard Minute podcast where they broke down Die Hard minute by minute. I listened to a few episodes, and on the bottom it says, you may also like, I guess it listed a bunch of deep dive podcasts. And as soon as I saw Rambo, I was in, because I guess you were on maybe Rambo 2 by then. So I went back to the beginning, listened, and of course that led to Rocky, and it led to the whole Last of the Action Heroes network.
Oh, wow.
Which is made just for me. I worked at a movie theater. Before I was a mailman, I worked at a movie theater for 25 years. And I just grew up loving movies, and especially action movies, 80s and 90s action movies. I think we're about the same age. I'm 53.
Okay.
We grew up through the 80s and 90s. And so it's kind of like someone made a podcast network just for me.
I did it just for you, Vic. I found the person. I
Thank you.
found the
Yeah.
one person.
Probably everybody who listens must be like keyed into that. I just listened to one the other day. Katie was on something with Dolph Lundgren, the Dolph Lundgren podcast. All these guys are part of like my childhood and growing up. So,
oh, perfect. Well, that's great. You are the Venn diagram of the audience.
Yeah.
So,
I'm the demographic.
You're the demographic for sure. I started the podcast network started with just me and my brother Ruben, and we did the Rocky show. It was called Going the Distance, the Rocky Series Podcast, and that's like the first segment of shows. If you go back 1,500 episodes, we're at the beginning. And as I made friends throughout the podcasting years, people like Doug and Craig, of course, and Kyle and Katie, and then I got invited on other people's shows, and I was like, there's some group of good people I just want to be a part of and make a network. I've heard of other podcasts making networks. So I created a network. I treated it like I don't know, how would you call it, like a Netflix almost. Like, you maybe not everyone listens to every show, but it's kind of like if you like Vic, like action movies and these action heroes, it's like a one-stop shop. You don't have to have 10 different feeds on your phone. You could just have the one feed for all these shows. So that's how I envision it. It's been going pretty well, and everyone's been really, really kind. And I'm glad we found somebody like Vic. Vic, you were the person I was going for. So there you go.
You're a mogul. Who knew?
Oh, no, I'm nobody. I'm a ham and egger, but I appreciate your support of the show.
I do have to say that I listen to a lot of podcasts, and mainly it comes down to the host and the personality of the host, the sense of humor, the voice even. I say all the time about your Canadian accent. You probably don't hear it. I like ancient history as well. And there's a million podcasts about ancient history, but sometimes I listen and the host just doesn't connect with me. Or sometimes movie podcasts, you'll hear the host like hasn't even seen the movie until the day before.
Right.
So the fact that you love the films and you know the knowledge of what you're talking about, it's just as much you as I can listen to. I'm sure there's other Rocky podcasts or somebody talking about Rambo. Maybe it'd only be one episode for the whole movie. I love your in-depth. But it's you and the other hosts on the network that I connect with. So,
well, that's great. Yeah, we love hearing that. And I know I'm sad that this Rambo series is really going to come to an end. Yes, I'm sorry, Rambo. Things do end. This will be over at one point. I don't know what would be the reboot again. We did this mini reboot just because I got the trivia book from Rocco. Hey, this is great. This is a great way to have fun with trivia, talk with fans of the movie, and yes, fans of the show. That was the idea, was I would get listeners of the show to come on and talk about their fandom and share that with them. But I don't know what it would be after this is over. I guess a sixth Rambo film. But if I could nerd out for 1 second, the one thing that they could really, really do and is a prequel. And what I mean by that, in fact, just last night, the time it's recording, just last night, I watched Platoon with my 3 youngest. And yeah, don't worry, they're very mature kids. They love those type of movies. And it's a good chance for us to talk about some of the tough things that are shown in the film. So I would pause the film. I'd explain why were the soldiers doing what they're doing, what was going through their heads, why was it such a complicated war. So it's kind of like a history lesson. And Platoon's a great movie to introduce kids to the horrors of the Vietnam War and the conflictions that people had there. But anyways, I say all this. It reminded me, because my 13-year-old son's like, yeah, this is where Rambo fought in this war. I'm like, that's right. And he goes, maybe he's out there somewhere. I'm like, yeah, I think this is a little bit earlier than when Rambo fought in the war. I think he was later. But anyways, the point is, they should do a prequel. That was my long way of saying a prequel would work. I would love to see, of course, recast. You'd have to recast, of course, but to see a young Rambo during his Vietnam days with Troutman, the stories they hear, how many times did I get you out of stuff, Rambo? All that kind of talk. Wouldn't you like to see even if it's a 2 or 3 season, or even just maybe a 10-episode arc of his time before he joined Nam, so time with his father. Apparently his father was abusive. We can see some of his childhood, see him in boot camp. Imagine seeing Rambo in boot camp. I think, wouldn't a Rambo prequel series be a fascinating watch?
Nowadays, it's all about prequels. So when I watched Cobra Kai, John Kreese, who was Martin Kove, of course, in Rambo 2, they went into his origin. They flashed back to him.
Oh.
Back then, it was probably like, I don't know if it was the Korean War, because this was like, but yeah, getting into the backstory of characters, maybe he'd probably have to let Stallone write it. He'd have to be involved somehow. But I would think he would love to, he'd have to stick his nose in there somehow and get involved. But
I don't disagree with Sly here, and I love Sly's, but I'm also objective enough to know that maybe Sly doesn't touch this, meaning he's not acting in it. Maybe he could be a producer, but he doesn't actually own the Rocky character, which is a whole other discussion.
Yeah, he's not happy about that.
But back to the Rambo character, we know David Morrell is the owner and creator of the character. So I hate to say it, like, not to sound like a dick, but if I was a TV mogul or whatever, if I wanted this greenlit, I don't need Sly's permission or blessing.
That's true.
You could just do it. You have to be totally objective. Like, stick to the character, stick to the David Morrell Rambo character. And how I would actually do it too, I'm nerding out here, I apologize, but this is a Rambo podcast. How I might actually do it too is because of the abuse of his father, he was timid, and that was his quiet stoicism came from that abuse. But he found friendship and companionship in the trenches, literally, with his teammates. There's a lot of drama you could draw from the war, his life, him wandering, and that's how you end the series. Is you end it with him wandering town to town, and then he wanders into hope. And you could do it like you could have the actor who's playing Rambo walking into town with the exact same angle of everything, with the back of the actor, so you don't see Sly's face, and then you can almost see the cop car pull up, and then it ends. That kind of ending to the prequel as it bleeds into First Blood. I don't know. I'm nerding out here.
First Blood definitely starts in the middle of something. Like, he's got a whole backstory built inside of him that we don't know.
It's hinted at in the books. This was like the 15th town. So he had been harassed town after town. That's why he snaps in the book, is because he just keeps getting mistreated where he goes. So Teasel necessarily wasn't the first one. It was just he was the last one. That's why he comes back. So even when the Rambo character comes back, it almost plays in the movie when he's like, why are you pushing me? That's why Rambo says it like that, because Rambo's been pushed over and over again. And when he gets dropped off outside town, the reason why he turns around, it wasn't because this town pissed me off. I'm done being driven out of towns. I'm coming back and I'm going to get something to eat.
That's all he wanted was something to eat.
All he wanted was something to eat. Except for that king shit cop. Okay. All right. What is your overall fandom of the Rambo franchise?
So I have an Italian-American family. So Stallone is like a patron saint of Italian Americans. In the living room, we had a picture of Jesus on the wall, and right next to it was a picture of Stallone. I was like,
sure.
Not really, but
I got you.
My dad loved him. I have an older brother, and I remember him coming home one day because he went with his friend to see First Blood. I was too young. I guess I was like 11 at the time. And he said, "Oh, the new Stallone movie's fantastic. There's First Blood. You got to go see it." And I think I saw it like when it came on cable or something. But when Rambo 2 came out, it was me, my father, my brother, and his friends. We went opening night. And it was rare for my dad to go to the movies, but he liked movies, but he didn't go to the movies too often. But we went opening night, and to this day, I remember so much of it. It was one of the greatest audience participation. The audience was keyed up. They were ready to go. They laughed at all the right parts. They cheered at all the right parts. I just remember like when Murdoch is saying, he's quickly giving them the thing at the beginning. So you go in, you take pictures, and there's a little pause. And the audience laughs, and he says, "You're not supposed to engage the enemy." And the audience started laughing because they know what's going to happen. And
sure.
When he's getting ready to kill Lieutenant Tay at the end, and he pulls the arrow out, And just as it goes past the camera real quick, the audience can see it's the explosive tipped arrow. He's getting ready to shoot him. The audience was like, but they were already cheering even before he blew him up.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's funny. I just specifically remember that to this day, that like it's 100% satisfying as a movie. It's like 97 minutes. It goes, it doesn't stop. Even movies like Avengers Endgame or something, which is like huge and people love it. But like you say, it's 3 hours, or I wish the character didn't die or something like that. But like Rambo, I wouldn't make any improvements to this movie. It's just like pure entertainment. I think maybe that's why it stood the test of time.
You're right about the Endgame or the Avengers Journey. Very popular films. I enjoyed them. Like I enjoyed them, but I don't revisit them. It's kind of like, I got the story. Cool. It's fun. I had a good time watching it. I enjoyed the journey, the snap, and all that good stuff. And I'm Iron Man and all those. I enjoyed all that stuff. But I don't revisit. You revisit Rocky and Rambo and these type of films. There's something about them. Maybe it's our childhood. Maybe it's nostalgia. I get it. But you're talking about the entertainment. Who gets tired of seeing the scene, I'm coming to get you? Like when he grips the microphone. I never get tired of that. And the explosive arrow scene, you never get tired of that stuff.
And you don't have to see 5 movies before it. You don't have to see the ones after it.
No, you don't have to. In fact, some people don't see the movies after, which is unfortunate. All right.
One thing I want to say real quick, too, is there's a lot of Stallone, Schwarzenegger. They're like, who's better? Who's the better action star? In my opinion, I always go Sly, because I'm going to sound like a movie critic now or something, but
that's fine.
First Blood is basically a 70s movie. It's like dark, gritty. It has the downbeat ending. He's an anti-hero. Rambo 2, 3 years later, it's pure 80s. It kills 100 people, explosions. He doesn't get a scratch on him. He gets a little scratch on his, but he's tied down at that point. Then after Die Hard, famously, you get the more human action hero. You don't need the big muscles. And I think Stallone did even that. He went, I would say, cliffhanger, Daylight. Yeah. He's just a regular construction worker. Arnold, probably because of the way he looks, he's pure 80s. Every one of his movies is big explosions. He's muscular. Yeah. He never, like, even True Lies, he doesn't get a scratch on him. Taking away the part where Stallone, he writes, he directs, he's a better actor. He got screwed out of an Oscar for Creed.
That's politics. I think so. Yeah.
But that's why, for me, the last 50 years, I love Arnold as well, but to me, Stallone is the better action star, because he transitioned from the 70s to the 80s. The generation before, you get like your, what do you call it, Charles Bronson. He made the same movie over and over again.
Sure.
Even like a Clint Eastwood, whom I love, the legend. He's basically Clint Eastwood. And maybe at the time, they didn't have big budget extravaganza explosions. Burt Reynolds, they were all stuck in who they were. But Sly, he changes and he made different movies. So many people have come and gone. Eddie Murphy was number one in the world, then he disappeared. Jim Carrey, then he kind of falls to the wayside. But Sly, he made it the 3 decades of action movies. Is saying something. To me, that's why he's over Arnold as the best action hero of our lifetimes.
You're not even an argument for me. I agree. It's always who's better, Jordan or LeBron or Wayne Gretzky or Mario Lemieux. Like, it's your flavor too. Like, I get it. There's no opinion is wrong. But yes, Sly brings more to the movie table. The writing and directing alone is where he beats Arnold. Arnold maybe has done a better job at some points picking better projects, but he didn't write those projects. So when Sly made poor choices and his career slumped, what did he do? Instead of relying on other people to create projects for himself, he creates his own. He rebooted the Rocky franchise, which gave us the Creed franchise. He made the Expendables, just fun action films. They did very well. Even the 4th one did okay, but the first 3 did very well at the box office. He created that franchise. So even when things weren't going well or he wasn't getting offers, he said, then I'll make my own. And he does. So that self-starter from Rocky onward is what makes Sly, when it comes to his job as an actor creator, yes, he's better than Bruce, better than a lot of these guys. The only one that you could always argue is Clint is a very good director. So yeah. So Clint's a better director than
I'm trying to stick to action because I know everybody says Arnold made funnier movies. He was funny, which Stallone seems like a funny guy when I see him in interviews. Arnold went with Ivan Reitman for Twins. Like this
sure. That's what I mean. Big projects. Good directors, good projects. Yeah. Arnold and he's actually a funny, and I like him too as a person, his personality as well. I like his personality. And yeah, so I never have to choose, meaning I watch Arnold movies and Sly movies. But if you had to put a gun to my head and said, who brings more to the Hollywood table? I think it's Sly.
Yeah.
All right. Great stuff for your fandom on Sly and on the Rambo franchise. I'm curious, what are your overall thoughts on how the Rambo franchise ended with Last Blood?
I wasn't a big fan of Last Blood. It just seemed like it was like a Jason Statham script that was laying around and they picked it up and turned it into Rambo or something. Or people have said it's like a Taken and he turned it around. It was getting a little too violent for me. It was like, it seemed to like revel in the violence a little too much. Maybe I have to watch it again. But I will say I wanted to bring up one point. Mm-hmm. This has been talked about a lot about Sly's hair in Last Blood. And I almost feel the opposite. In Rambo, he's got the long hair. He's in the jungle. It seems a little too long to me. It's bordering on, like you see Brian May from Queen, and he's 75 years old, and he's still got the long hair. Once you get past a certain age, I'm not one to talk, as you can see, but like it's true. In Last Blood, he does just look like Sylvester Stallone. Another reason it doesn't seem like a Rambo movie, he just looks like Sylvester Stallone. But I think maybe by the time you're 75, however old he was in that movie, maybe 70, you're not going to have the long, wavy hair.
They should have had a beard.
Should have had a beard. Bearded Stallone is always great. Nighthawks, yep. Rocky IV, he never disappoints. Or they should have just made it that the girl was like an old army buddy of his daughter. Or they should have connected it to Vietnam somehow. The fact that it was all about like Mexican drug cartels. Like, what's Rambo doing with Mexican drug cartels? That's another reason it seemed just like a script that was laying around. And he wanted to make one more Rambo. If he made a movie and he was playing a different character, nobody would go see it. But he puts Rambo in the title.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, you're right. It's very much not a Rambo film in many ways. If you took any mention of the word Rambo, like the term Rambo, his name Rambo, I would be curious if anyone would watch that film and say, yes, it's Rambo. Other than, he brings out the big Bowie knife, the death knife at the end. But see, that might be, people are like, am I watching a Rambo movie? The bow and arrow might give it away too, but that's just it. The bow and arrow and the big knife are the only Rambo aesthetics. You're right. But other than that, it's an action film. Yeah. Okay.
I'd probably rate him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if I were to go my favorites.
Just in that order.
Yeah, just write down.
All right. That's fair. Yeah. Yeah, I think in terms of quality, I would almost argue, I've done this hot take before, that the reason why 4 is last for me is because it's an incomplete film. The big gun shootout at the end, you've heard me say it 100 times. I'll just repeat it very quickly in case anyone doesn't remember or is listening for the first time. When he takes out everyone with the 50 cal, we love it. It's fantastic. What a great violent sequence of events. But that should have been end of act, whatever. Then the next part of the film should have been a covert mission of him like breaking in, doing quick hand-to-hand kills, that type of thing. But the fact that he just guts the leader in the forest and then it ends and he looks over everybody on top of the cliff, and that's it. That's the end. It felt incomplete. It was 80 minutes, so it's too short. It was too short. You didn't have 15 more minutes of a breaking into the camp to kill the bad guy at the end, like a stealth mission. Anyways, so I feel it was a failed ending. And to this day, when you watch that 50 cal scene, we all love it, but then it just feels incomplete, which is a frustrating movie experience. Whereas at least Last Blood is not an incomplete film. It ends with him in the rocking chair, and that is a proper ending.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Let's get into the trivia.
I'm all ready to go.
Yeah, so for our audio listeners, Vic's actually got like a proper, what do you call it, a sheet with the numbers and everything for the score. Okay. Oh, I also want to play something really quick. So last episode I did with Peter, we had a question from Rocco. Of course, this all comes from the Rambo trivia book by Rocco.
Okay. I didn't buy it yet because I don't trust myself not to cheat and look up the answers. So I will buy it as soon as the episode's over.
That's awesome. I've always said if you come on the show and you own the book, that's fine, but you better not look ahead. Okay. Because even I don't look ahead. Okay. The question was, and you might remember this because I think you heard the episode. What is the name of Ericsson's plane?
Yes, I had a question about that. To me, I assumed they meant people name their planes or their boats, like Mary Ellen, or they name their boat Mistress of the Sea.
That's right.
I guess the answer was Dragonfly, but that's kind of like the code name.
That's the call sign. I'm in the military. It's a call sign. You're absolutely correct. So when I was doing the editing, as I edit this recording after to insert
put in clips.
I went to every scene in the film that had the plane, and there was no label on the plane that says so I'm like, Rocco, where did you get Dragonfly? It's nowhere on any side of the plane. So I have the scene, and you're absolutely right. So this is where Rocco, maybe he misunderstood what a call sign is. So a call sign, for those who might not know, which not everyone might know. So it's a Top Gun is Maverick. That's a call sign. So it's just the person's name. So if I was flying the helicopter, the plane, they wouldn't say, "Hey, Ryan, where are you?" They'd call me, I don't know, whatever. Or they call you Lone Wolf. There you go. Your nickname, your call sign would be Lone Wolf in the plane. So Ericsson's call sign is Dragonfly. So the question should be, what is Ericsson's call sign? That's the answer, is Dragonfly.
Or I thought maybe it just depended on the mission. Like for this particular mission, it was Dragonfly and Wolf Den.
You're right. So every unit does have a call sign as well. So whether it's a person or the transport of said person or where all the transport goes to, all these things have call signs.
Okay. Whatever point Maverick's a Maverick in the 2020 movie was still Maverick, even though he's flying a test jet or whatever. He flies a helicopter, he's still Maverick.
That's right. He's Maverick, but then whatever thing he's flying would have a call sign too, actually, because the people tracking the aircraft in the ship, which actually has a call sign as well, so ships have proper names. So when they're doing missions, they don't say, "Hey, this is the USS Ronald Reagan." It's called something else during missions. Okay, so here we hear the conversation. I've got the clip for you here, so we can listen to it and watch it together.
Copy leader, this is Dragonfly 1. Do you read? Over.
Dragonfly 1, come in, I read you.
Any visual bearings by flare?
Okay, so there you go. Sorry, I've made it way more confusing. I forgot the clip. So Dragonfly 1 is actually Troutman.
Yeah, he said this is Dragonfly 1.
That's right. I forgot. I should have rewatched the clip before. I got the clip ready 2 weeks ago.
I that upon rewatch as well, that he's saying this is Dragonfly 1.
That's right. So we'll hear that again.
Copy leader, this is Dragonfly 1. Do you read? Over. Dragonfly.
So he's going into Coven Leader. I think it's Coven Leader. So he's calling Coven Leader, which is the plane. So he's saying this is Dragonfly 1.
Come in, I read you.
Any visual bearings by flares?
Negative.
Wait, did he say? Wait, say that again.
Dragonfly 1, come in, I read you.
Yeah, Dragonfly 1. So what you do is you repeat the person you're talking to. So if you're Lone Wolf, and this is call me Rebel Ryan. So I'd be like, Lone Wolf, this is Rebel Ryan, come in. And then you would say, Rebel Ryan, this is Lone Wolf. I hear you loud and clear. Over. That's what happened there. This is the longest way of saying, Rocco, I love you. But the plane is never named, and it's actually Troutman. He is called Dragonfly 1.
Which is its own question, because you'd think the plane would be Dragonfly. It's flying around.
I know.
He's Dragonfly standing in a room there.
Yeah, that's a weird code name to call himself Dragonfly 1. Now, Rocco, because he listens to every episode, if I misunderstood and the plane is labeled as well Dragonfly, show me where, and I'll absolutely correct myself. Okay, here we go. First question for us today.
Okay, yes.
And for everyone playing along at home, why doesn't Ericsson allow Rambo and the POW to enter the helicopter? There's too much weight, or the POW had a peanut allergy and they were serving peanuts. Yeah, so this will be an interesting one to answer. I'm curious what the answer is. Okay, how much money in war reparations? Oh boy, Rocco. How much money in war reparations was America supposed to pay the Kong in 1972? And did they pay the fee? So again, it's whoever's the closest. You can go over. It doesn't matter. It's just whoever's the closest. You can go over. You're allowed to go over. I hate it when people do the Price is Right rules. Well, we're not playing prices when we do these games throughout our life. Guess the closest, whatever. But you can't go over. Why?
Yeah.
Because Price is Right made that rule? No, this is just whoever's the closest.
I guess it's to avoid ties, right? If somebody could be $1 short and $1 over, it would be a tie. So Price is Right is like, we want to avoid ties.
They can share the bragging rights together.
They can share the dishwasher.
Okay. Where do the Vietnamese soldiers put Rambo once they've captured him?
Oh my gosh.
Okay. What pop machine is in Murdoch's office? We call that. I believe Rocco's Canadian, so we say pop up here.
Soda pop.
So soda pop in the state. Even there are parts in the eastern U.S. I know they say pop as well. I think Minnesota, very Canadian state, they say pop. I think, but I know most of America says soda or soda pop. Yeah.
Big product placement.
Yeah, it is a big one. I'm hoping I got the right one because it's one of two, but I'm 90% sure I got it. Okay. According to Podofsky, what is a poor substitute for intelligence?
Aha.
Oh, you know it. Oh, boy.
I've watched the movie many times this week.
Oh, yeah, okay. You know what's funny? Just for the record, and I'm not saying this is why I'm not doing very well. I haven't rewatched this film since I did the coverage on my show, like when I did the.
Oh my gosh! All right,
Yeah.
I watch it like almost every night this week. My wife was saying like, "Are you watching it again?" And I'm like, "No, but there's trivia questions involved. If it was just talking about the movie, I wouldn't need to watch it again." But
Yeah, that's just it. I know. The guests are coming in prepared, and that's
yes.
fine. What is a poor substitute? Oh, we could talk about this part. This is the scene where, of course, he's talking to Rambo. Rambo's captured.
Mhm.
I can see him mocking Rambo in my brain.
Yeah. He takes out the knife and he puts the knife in the fire, and I think that's when he says,
Oh, I have a guess. It's not right, but it's the only thing I can think of. And I'll give my answer first, and you'll see why I thought of it. Okay. What are the code names of Rambo's team that Potofsky has intercepted? Code names of Rambo's team. What's the scene here? Help me out with the scene.
he's reading off like we intercepted what they said.
Yeah, and he's like clever names or something like that.
Colorful names.
Colorful names. Holy smokes. Have we been talking about them?
I think we mentioned one of them for sure.
I'm going to say, okay.
It's like, it seems you were abandoned on direct command. And these are the people you protect with your pain.
With your pain, boy. That's a great line. I mean, that's a great, yeah. True or false, Podofsky is wearing glasses when he is reading the intercepted helicopter. When he is reading
50-50.
Oh, message. Is he where I'm going to say, I know, yeah, it's 50-50. 28. Why can Rambo feel totally safe when he is on his mission? Why can Rambo feel totally safe when he's... Oh, I think this might be saying, why was he told he can feel totally safe? Like somebody says, you can feel safe. Because ... Okay, I think I got this one.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't want to give away too much hints. I'll just say somebody tells Rambo he can feel safe on his mission because of ... So what is that? Because that's the answer.
Okay.
But I don't even want to say who told him this because it will give away the scene. I know it sounds terrible, but the scene is, you'll see why, because the scene is the answer. So too nice. What color is Rambo's headband? Oh boy, I feel like this is a trick question. I'm going to get it wrong. He has a different one every film almost, does he? It seems like it changes colors. Isn't it purple once or something like that?
I feel like he wears two in this movie.
He might, but if you get at least the right one.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I got you. I know what you mean. Last question. What animal's blood does Rambo use as a trap for the soldiers? Okay. That's funny. This is Katie's favorite scene. Okay. All right.
Just a quick note. Now you mentioned Katie. I love Katie. I got a little crush on her. I'm sure a lot of guys tell you that, but she's way off track with Over the Top. It's a terrible movie.
No, say it, please.
I love Stallone. Some movies are so bad they're good, like Cobra, but like Over the Top's just bad. I don't know why she loves that movie. Out of all the movies to pick,
she's not a perfect woman. It's okay.
Yeah, I guess he looks good in the movie. That doesn't affect me that much.
You know what?
He looks good in Demolition Man. That's a great movie. He looks good in a lot of movies.
It is peak Sly, and she is obsessed with peak Sly. I think his physique and looks I think it clouds her her objectivity. I think it is clouded. I don't know how anyone could objectively like that movie. But anyways, okay. All right, here we go with the answers.
Yes.
Oh, good. I got the first one right. Why doesn't Erickson allow Rambo and the POWs to enter the helicopter? So I always let my guest answer first.
He's told to abort. It's
exactly.
It's an Alpha Kilo Victor command priority.
Oh,
I'm ordering you to abort.
Jeez.
Dragonfly, this is Coach 1. This is an Alpha Kilo Victor command priority. I want you to abort the mission immediately. I say again, this is a recall. Confirm, over.
Say again, Coach 1. Say again.
I'm telling you to abort.
That's right. He's been ordered by Murdoch to abort the mission. Very good. He even got the code. Wow.
I tried to remember anything with like names or numbers. I figured those would make for good trivia questions.
Oh, you're more than prepared. I was way off on this one. I'm curious what your answer is because we might have to do some crazy math if we're both in the same area.
He says in 1972 we agreed to pay $4.5 billion in war reparations.
You nailed the amount. And did they pay it yesterday?
Well, we reneged. They kept the POWs.
Wow! Holy smokes!
You're doing the same thing now, aren't you?
Trapman, I still don't think you understand what this is all about.
The same as it always is. Money. In 72, we were supposed to pay the Kong $4.5 billion in war reparations. We reneged. They kept the POWs.
I don't have to insert the movie clips almost. I'm still going to just because I like doing it. So the answer is $4.5 billion. I wrote 10 million. Yeah, I think I'm off. I think
that's a lot in 1972. That's a lot.
That's what I thought. I thought, boy, how much money do you have to give these guys? Okay. Where do the Vietnamese soldiers put Rambo once they have captured him?
They put him in, I want to say, pig slop or pig poop, pig excrement.
Yeah, you're right.
I wonder why that's there. It's just a big pool of it.
Yeah, it's weird. We see the pigs and then we see their shite being sloughed into this pit.
Especially in the jungle, you don't want to get like dysentery and malaria. You wouldn't have that like open pit of just, I guess it's to torture people probably.
It's a great scene, by the way.
Oh, it is. When they pull him out and it's just like the sucking sound of like.
Sly's really he's in that thing, and those are real leeches on him.
No. I didn't know.
I think we talked about it. I got confirmation from who was it? I have a few people people that have Sly on speed dial that I've had on the shows over the years, and I got one of them to ask Sly about the leeches. I believe that's how I got the answer on that one. And the answer is yes, those were real leeches. Because you can see when the knife is used to slide it off of his cheek or his neck or whatever, and there's that blood trickle that happens after the leech is taken off the neck, or it was the neck or the chest or the
one. The first one's like on his pec, and then there's one like on his neck. He takes two of them off, I think.
Yeah, and what I'm getting at is I said like I have this really good leech prosthetic because it's moving, and then makeup when they release it from the skin because the blood comes down right away that's been sucked out of the flesh. So I thought, wow, that's really good like effects for 1985 to make that creature look real and to make the blood look, or it's just real. That's just a leech that got plucked off your skin. So it's real. Sly went full. Ugh. Leeches are so gross. To me, that is one of the grossest things to have on you. Have you ever had a leech on you?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it's not.
I remember in the African Queen, the old Humphrey Bogart movie, they burn them off because I think you're not supposed to pull them off because their head sticks in you or something. But
that's a tick. Ticks the head.
Oh,
maybe some leeches do as well. I'm not a leech expert. There might be some leeches that do stick their heads in. Salt's a good one too. If you're ever
like a snail.
Yeah, they don't like salt. Yeah,
I guess he did rats in First Blood. They were real rats on him. So
yeah, those were real rats. He was legit freaking out. That wasn't a lot of acting. He did not
like little bugs like cockroaches. The smaller, the worse they are. I'd rather do a rat than a cockroach.
Oh, really? Yeah. So would you rather put your hand in a bucket of rats or cockroaches?
I guess the rats can bite you, so maybe
let's pretend the rats don't bite.
I'd rather have rats crawling on me than cockroaches crawling on me. How's that?
Really?
Yeah, I think so. They can get everywhere, the cockroaches, right? They're like.
Would you rather bite the head off a rat? No, I'm just going. How gross can we get? Okay. Yeah, but that whole pig waste sequence was it's so well done. It just, whatever they used to make it look gross, they just did such a great job. The way he's pulled
the surface of it looks very nasty.
And I do love how he's wearing a very like loinclothy diaper to cover his nakedness.
I wonder about that. Did they give that to him? He couldn't have been wearing that under his uniform.
No, he's not wearing Depends. So I think this is that weird movie thing because it's just barely there. So yes, it's like, did the Vietnamese be like, we're going to torture you, put leeches on you, we're going to humiliate you, we're going to duck you in this pig shite, but we're going to make sure your penis isn't exposed.
Yeah, he should be naked, really.
Yes, so we know that if this wasn't actually filmed for a movie, this was like real life Rambo torture, the victim would be nude. Absolutely. Whatever's biting his neck, they would want that biting his junk as well. It's too bad they didn't refilm it and just have his backside be exposed, like just to show the viewer.
Yeah, like Tango and Cash.
Yeah, exactly. Just showed like there's his bare ass as he's being pulled out. And then when they show his front, we've already seen the backside knowing, okay, he's nude in this pit. Because it's humiliation. It's like a humiliation tactic as well. That we know that he's been stripped and he's been dunked in here. So we see as a viewer, it would have been more effective, but he's wearing like a Tarzan diaper and
like a sumo wrestler thing.
Yeah, it's not as effective. Yeah,
it comes all the way up almost to his neck. It's deep. It's got to be at least like 4 feet, knowing how tall Stallone is.
Yeah, it's probably only 4 feet.
Little shot on his height. He looks short in this movie. I will say I love the guy. They make fun of his height a lot, him and Tom Cruise. But when he first walks into Thailand and meets Murdoch for the first time, he looks tiny.
Yeah, that's weird. They didn't put him on.
They can't surround him with short actors, but
yeah, I love it. I love it. Peter, last episode, he does weights and bodybuilds himself, and he actually says by admission he did that because he's of smaller height.
Yes,
and he actually said that a lot of weightlifters are usually shorter. And I'm like, I wonder if that's a thing.
For sure. I think Arnold broke the mold because he's 6'2" or something. That's why he was such a phenomenon back in the day. If you go back, they're like 5'5", like most bodybuilders back in the day. Were for sure, they got picked on in school probably. So it worked out. I think it does go together that a lot of bodybuilders.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'10", just average as can be.
No, I think it's above average. I would have to look at the male height. I always say I'm 6 feet with my shoes on, meaning like when I wear normal shoes, I'm 6 feet tall. I always like to say that. When I'm wearing shoes, but I'm 5'11" 3/4 without shoes. If that makes sense. Not quite 6 feet, but all right. So what's the soda pop?
Give me something cold, please.
Coca-Cola.
Yes, I got it too. Thank goodness. I was worried.
And later in the movie, he's drinking Murdoch pouring him one. Like it's a lot of Coca-Cola plugs.
According to Potofsky, what is a poor substitute for intelligence? Now, don't answer, because I think I got it wrong, and I know you got it right. I just want to give you my answer. Rambo, during this sequence, he was quiet. That's what I remember. He was quiet.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I don't remember him talking. So I just wrote silence or like stoicism, silence. And what's your answer? I haven't looked at the answer yet.
I believe it's pride.
Oh, you're right.
Substitute.
No answer. Do you wish to give your name? Now, what possible harm can that cause? Pride is a poor substitute for intelligence.
You got it right. Yep. You see why I guess silence? I was like, what was he doing? What was he doing that he wasn't talking? That's right. That whole sequence. And Sly, I think, probably wrote that whole dialogue sequence. It's really well done.
You know what's interesting, though, upon rewatching is Podofsky arrives in the helicopter and the music swells. He's dead now, one of the POWs says.
Yeah.
And he has that whole scene with Rambo. Makes a big speech and everything. And then Rambo breaks out, and you don't see Podofsky again until he's in the helicopter at the end. He's like in 5 minutes of the movie as the villain.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They don't even go back to him at some point and say, sir, we have Rambo surrounded. Bring him to me alive. Like nothing. Like from that scene forward, you don't see him at all until he rises over in the giant helicopter at the end. Maybe it's a testament to how good he is that we think he's in the movie.
Oh, good observation. Yeah. We never even made that connection.
Steven Berkoff, he was 1983, he was the villain in Octopussy, the James Bond movie. He was a Russian in that. 84, Beverly Hills Cop, of course. He was Victor Maitland. And then 85, he was the villain in Rambo 2. So 3 years in a row, he's like classic 80s villains, 1, 2, and 3.
That's a great gig. You know what it is? Maybe because he was in all these movies, we just keep thinking he's in more of the film than he's in because we just keep seeing them being the bad.
Maybe.
Yeah.
When Alan Rickman was in Die Hard, then he was in like Robin Hood after that. He was the villain.
Right.
They get typecast.
Snape. Wasn't he Snape?
He was Snape, and then he was in Quigley Down Under, the Western.
That's your thing. Like, if you're got the face or the voice or the mannerisms of the bad guy, you just lean into it and make a career out of it, which is what you do. Yeah, absolutely. I didn't get this one. What are the code names of Rambo's team that Podofsky has intercepted? I'll tell you what I have, because again, I think you got it. I usually let the guest go first, but when I know I'm really wrong, I'll go first. So I did say Dragonfly.
Yeah.
Coven Leader. And then Mother's Den.
I think it's a Dragonfly, Wolf's Den. Colorful names.
Here is something that might be of interest to you. A transcript of the conversation between your helicopter pilot and his commander. We intercepted Dragonfly, Wolf, 10. Colorful names.
Colorful names. If I was Rambo, I would have said something that's rich coming from a Russian. That's what I would have said.
Direct command, and these are the people you protect with your pain.
With your pain, I love that. With your pain, it's always a great part.
And he says, "You can scream. There is no shame here."
That's actually a great scene too. In that he says that, and what I love is that we do get the Rambo scream, but they don't show it.
Very well done.
It is well done because it's like I don't know if the viewer really wants to see him in that kind of pain, but that's interesting. That this the only time in the Rambo film that we see a true guttural "I'm in pain" from the Rambo character.
Yeah, he doesn't make a noise really when he gets cut with the knife. And on the gunboat, the guy slaps him and he just quickly turns his head back like, "Your slap didn't mean anything." Like the gunboat captain slaps him. He just snaps his head back. That doesn't hurt me. But yeah, to see him scream, I don't know. He doesn't.
I think it's to indicate just how much they're putting into him. That even if Rambo screams, that it would kill a normal man, but it makes Rambo scream.
The POWs hear that and they're just like losing all hope.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's dead now, they say.
True or false? Podolsky's wearing glasses when he's reading the intercepted helicopter message.
I think true. I think he puts them on, reads it, and then takes them off again.
That's what I put true as well. I was like, ugh. I hope it's true. It's true there. Why can Rambo feel totally safe? I'm going to let you go first on this one. Why can Rambo feel totally safe when he is on his mission?
This is the only one I'm not positive about. I know when Troutman's walking Rambo, he says you have all this modern technology. So use it. Don't try the blood and guts routine.
Before I look at the answer, my answer was kind of in line with yours. So I think the idea was Murdoch told Rambo, look at all this high-end equipment. Okay. You can feel totally safe knowing that we're watching you.
Yeah, it's the modern technology aspect of it, is that don't go back to your old ways. And then they give him like a knife and a bow and arrow. I don't know.
I will give you the point as well, because I think it's regarding the technology that you brought up. Yeah, so Murdoch has the world's most advanced weapons. That's the answer that Rocco gives. It was Murdoch telling Rambo, you can feel safe, Rambo, because we got the best stuff. And that's what he says. The brain's the best thing, right?
You may find this hard to believe, but all this is for you. Impressed? Besides the monitoring devices you see here, you'll be issued every ultra-modern piece of equipment we have to ensure your safety. Rambo, you can feel totally safe because we have the most advanced weapons in the world available to us.
I've always believed that the mind is the best weapon.
I'm going to be tough. I'm not going to give myself that.
No, you said it was the technology.
Yeah, but I was thinking of the scene where Troutman's walking with him, and he's like, you know, like the war's dead, and I'm still alive. It's still alive, isn't it? You know that scene.
You're right. It's a tag after the scene. You're right. Sure. Look. I feel bad because I think you were going to get a perfect score.
If I'm losing to you, I'll count it. If I'm not, I won't count it.
Oh, I know. I'm losing. What color is Rambo's headband? What did you put there?
When he first goes, it's black, but then of course he cuts up Coe's dress and he has the red headband for the second half of the movie. He's got the black tank top and the black headband when he's going to the mission.
Yeah, he put red and I put red. I think it's the iconic color, but
yeah,
you're right. Yeah. Last question. I don't have to look at the answer, but we all know it. What animal did Rambo kill?
Yeah, the chicken.
Yeah.
Poor chicken.
Actually, we should have done an animal kill count for the Rambo franchise. So, a wild hog and a chicken.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. I think you got 9 out of 10. Yeah.
9 out of 10, wow. Yes. If we don't count that one. Don't feel bad. I watched this movie like I literally watched it the last 8 nights in a row. So just
oh, jeez. Okay. That's really good. You got the highest score for part 2. We have 8 out of 10 from our first guest, 6 out of 10 for our second guest, and then 9 out of 10 for you. I got 3 wrong. So I actually got 7 out of 10, which is actually surprising. I thought I did worse than that because I missed, just to double check, I missed that, pride, not silence. And I missed the names and I missed the amount of money. Okay.
Yeah, you probably missed the ones that if you hadn't watched it in the last week, you wouldn't have gotten those. Like I wouldn't have remembered $4.5 billion. And
that's fair. That's
like you would remember he's in the pig slop. You would remember the chicken, stuff like that from seeing it years ago.
That's awesome, Vic. I really appreciate you coming on. It was an absolute blast. You're a joy to talk to. I appreciate your support of the show and the shows that we do. It's listeners like you that we keep doing this. It's listeners like you where I feel sad that this Rambo portion of my podcasting days will end, barring some sort of event or something prequel or announcement, or I don't know if I can keep talking. Not in a bad way. It's just I can keep talking about Rambo, but if it's not new, it's just okay. I could just listen to the other episodes again.
Can I ask, when the Rambo podcast is over, what will you do?
Well, we're still.
How will you live?
Day by day. Sorry, I thought you were asking me a real question. I'm like, you set me up.
I said the wrong line there. What will you do? How will you live day by day?
Day by day, Vic. Day by day. I want what other podcasters want. Yeah. So that's funny. Good for you. So, Vic, is there anything you want to plug? Anything like that?
Shout out my wife and kids, because Mother's Day here. So my wife was kind enough to give me an hour on She said, I would never take that away from you. I know how excited you are.
I hope it was everything. I hope it was everything you dreamed of.
You're a married guy. I'm sure I'll pay for that in the future. It's like very expensive dinner coming up that I'm sure I'll have to pay for it.
No, my wife, probably a lot like yours. So we've been married for 15 years now. We're pretty established in the sense, like, my wife is like me with Father's Day. You don't have to like worship the ground I walk on throughout the day. Say Happy Father's Day, give me a hug, and I'm
doing the laundry. I'll clean the house. I'll take the kids out, give her some time to herself. That's really all she wants.
Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds about right. Yeah. No, in fact, when we scheduled this, I forgot it was because we scheduled well in advance. But I was like, oh, it's actually Mother's Day. Oops, I forgot. All right.
Shout out to everyone. I'm sure they listen already, but like the Last of the Action Heroes podcast network, I could probably just listen to all the different podcasts on the network if I wanted. I would never run out of stuff. I like to, once in a while, I'll listen to a sports one or a history one, but if I had to, 100% fewer content is fantastic.
Oh, thank you. I should ask, do you listen to the Frank stuff too? The Frank Stallone podcast?
I think I listened to one. I'm not a big Frank Stallone fan.
What is anybody? Wait a minute. I don't think that's the point. You have to listen to the show. I think you're missing the point. Anyway, that's funny.
That's the most amazing podcast that you could go week after week or month after month just talking about Frank Stallone. You talk about running out of Rambo content, but like Frank Stallone content.
I love.
Shout out to It's a Long Road at the end of Peace in Our Life. He does a great song at the end of Rambo 2, Peace in Our Life.
Oh, yeah, that's a great song. You're too kind. You're too kind to even say that about him. I love how Vic that's his heart out. Brian, I love your stuff, but no, I can't follow you on the Frank Stallone journey. Hey, guys, if you're listening to this, check out our Frank Stallone podcast.
You went one step too far. I was praising you and saying every show's great, but then you went with the Frank Stallone podcast.
Check it out, folks. It's awesome. Okay. All right, Vic, this has been an absolute pleasure. I appreciate your humor, your knowledge, and your support. But unfortunately, this episode is over.
Nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it off.